Good morning, everybody.
What name is?
Hope everybody have seen the message, right?
I think so, but I still got remind everyone to attend the class.
Okay. So maybe we will wait for a few minutes, then we will start.
Okay, miss.
So did you check your LMS and other LMS for your all the slides and other things?
Yes, miss. I just upload for them.
Okay.
But then, miss, I got one question about the latest slide
About
about
the
the PT of labor. Is that chapter 2 for practical?
PT of labor. PT of labor means last class, right? Hello.
So is the chapter 4 right?
What is your question? Okay. So are you asking what is the portions for your mid semester exam? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Miss, but then I'm not sure, Onion.
Okay, for your mid semester, shall we keep till today's chapter?
I'm okay, Miss.
Okay, so we will go into the topic. So, any doubt till last class? We have seen what is pregnancy. We have seen what are the changes that will be taking place in during the pregnancy. What are the changes that is taking place during labor? And as a PT, what is our role in antenatal and what is our role in labor? So today we will see during the pregnancy, they will be having some discomforts. The mothers will be having some discomforts. So sometimes this discomforts we may not be able to cure it, or we may not be able to completely relieve the discomfort, but we can give them some we can give some um, it is like we can give them some comfort during their discomforts. Okay, so that is the class we are going to see today. So due to the physiological changes and the physical changes during pregnancy, so physiological changes you mean they will be having a lot of hormonal changes and hormonal elevation and reduction, and this hormonal changes will lead to some physiological changes like looseness of the smooth muscles. Then because of that the joints will become little loose and they will become unstable. All these changes will be there because of the hormones. And physical changes will be like the mothers will be having distension in the abdomen. That is, the abdomen will be bulging out. This bulge in the abdomen will be pulling the line of gravity, okay, anteriorly, and just to maintain the line of gravity within the base of support, the mothers will be doing some partial changes just to maintain it. So due to all these partial changes and due to all the hormonal changes, they will be having some discomforts. And as you know, like normally we will be going doing some postural, we will be doing certain activity in certain position, but because of pregnancy they will not be able to do so, and they will be changing their posture and they will be changing their routine. So this also will lead to some discomforts. Sometimes because of the discomforts the mother will feel as if like they will be worn out. So they will feel as if like they have to as early as possible they have to complete the 40 weeks of pregnancy time. So they will have a total disturbed psychology. Pregnancy and the hormone also will be leading to some psychological issue. Plus this discomforts also will increase or induce some psychological issue. Okay, so on the whole the mother will be having a mixed feeling of happiness as well as a sadness. Okay, so as a PT, our major role is to reduce this discomforts. So we will be, if we are giving them proper awareness, we will be able to prevent certain discomforts. Okay, sometimes like we will be able to treat and cure certain discomforts. So that is our major role during during the pregnancy. So we will see one by one what are the common discomforts they will have. So these are the common discomforts they will be having. It doesn't mean that everybody have to have all these discomforts. Some people will have few of it, some people will have none of it, some people will have all of it. Okay, so depends on their body and depends on their physical fitness. So they will be having, it is not mandatory that everybody should have this. So sometimes some people will have, some people will not have. So the common discomforts are, the first thing is low back pain. So low back pain, the cause for this low back pain is, one is the hormonal changes. Because of the hormones, the smooth muscle will undergo looseness and abdomen. And smooth muscles means mainly what are the contents which are there in the inside the spine or inside the trunk will undergo looseness, and this will be putting undue pressure on the muscles. Then because of the hormonal changes the collagen fibers and collagen fibers of the ligaments also will undergo changes, and the ligaments will become little loose or lax. So this also will lead to low back pain. Then joint laxity, we know what is the reason. Muscle laxity, we know what is the reason. Apart from that, the postural change. So the line of gravity will be totally shifted anteriorly because of the distending abdomen, and this will lead to some postural changes. Okay, so all these are the reasons for the low back pain. So once we know the reason, automatically we will know how to prevent it. Okay, so if they have any low back pain, first thing you have to check whether they have any radiating pain or not. So in case if they don't have radiating pain, it is purely muscular, then it is very easy for you to treat. But if they have a radiating pain, then it will take some time for you to cure them, because immediately you will not be able to put them in a traction, or you will not be able to give any modality to reduce the radiating pain. So it will take little longer time for you to keep that. Other than that, if you are giving them a proper awareness about their posture and about the changes that is going to take place in their body, then automatically you will be able to prevent the low back pain and you will be able to cure the low back pain. So first is we will try to prevent the low back pain, because we know all the pregnant mothers will definitely undergo these changes. So if they are coming to you for the antenatal classes, you can create an awareness for them. You can educate the mother what are the changes that is going to take place and how it is going to affect their posture. So how to maintain the posture. So if you teach them how to maintain the posture and create awareness, automatically you will be able to prevent this low back pain. Okay, so in case if they have any symptom, that is in case if they have the low back pain, then teach them some of the exercises and some of the techniques to reduce the low back pain. Okay, so that you will be able to prevent the exaggeration of the symptoms. So initially the low back pain will be purely muscular, then slowly it will lead to radiating pain and it will be leading to a spinal problem. So before that you are supposed to prevent it and cure it. Okay, so how to treat it? So these are exercises that will be helping us to treat the low back pain. The first is isometric back exercises. So isometric back exercises you can do using the towel. You can keep, you ask the person to be in crook lying and keep a towel under the lower back. Then ask them to press down. So when you're pressing down, automatically, when you're pressing down, you should not hold your breath. You should avoid breath holding, and you have to just press the lower back area down on the pillow or on the towel. Hold for 10 seconds, then relax. So this is isometric back exercises. So this one, if the mother is in the second trimester, they will not be able to do in supine lying. So in this case, what you have to do is you have to teach them in you're supposed to teach them in sitting. You can also teach them in standing. You can also do this in cat and camel. Okay, so these are the things we are supposed to do. Okay, so the same isometric, you can do it in sitting. That is, you make them to sit in a chair comfortably. Then you may ask them to keep their hands or a pillow behind their back at the lower back, then ask them to push down. Okay, then so this is like isometric back. Then this is in sitting. Then you can also do it in standing. Same thing, stand near a pillow, then stand near a wall, then keep a towel roll or a hand at the lower back, then push the wall or the hand, hold for 10 seconds and relax. So this is your isometric back. So you can teach them in lying, sitting, standing and in quadrupone position. So all these positions you are supposed to ask them to do isometric back exercises. Same like that, you have to ask them to do isometric abdomen exercises. So isometric abdomen also you can make them to do the abdominal retraction exercises. You can make them to do in sitting, standing and lying. And even on the quadrupone they are supposed to do this isometric abdominal exercises. Then next is pelvic tilting exercises. So we know already pelvic tilting exercises we can do in sitting, standing, lying, then okay, sitting, standing, lying, and even your cat and camel is your pelvic tilting exercise. Okay, then next is posture correction. So we have already seen some of the videos how to correct the posture. So with like you can check those videos and make them to correct their posture. So they are supposed to stand over the feet. Okay, they are supposed to stand over the neutral knee. They should not have any hyperextension of knee. So you have to correct them from the head till toe. You have to correct their posture. Okay. Then next is proper alignment. So you teach them, make them to stand in front of a mirror. Then teach them how to align their posture. So how the hand should be, how the eyes should be, or from the eyes till everything you have to correct it, so that they get the reinforcement and they will be keep on doing. Okay, emphasize it more and more, because once you prevent this particular problem you will be able to prevent many of the problem. If it is not like it, if the pain is very severe, then you can go for TENS. So you can place both the pads on either side of the pain, either side, then you can Is it clear now? The slides clear now? Is it clear now?
Miss is blur.
Blurred
Slides
only.
blur, and then it's a bit lagging.
How is it? Is it clear now?
Yes, Miss, now it's clear.
Okay. Okay, so next is like you can place tents. So tents can be placed on either side of the pain, and you can give it to the patient. They can increase or decrease the intensity whenever they have pain. So this normally most of the time we will ask them to buy a pocket tents in case if you feel they will be having they are more if they are more prone for LBA, then you have to ask them to get a tents and they can use it. Okay, so you can teach them how to increase and decrease the intensity and how to change the mode of the tents. So most probably, if the mother is very like little bit obese, uh, if they are working as a software professional, or if they are working in a sitting professional for long time, if they are very sedentary, then they will be having low back pain. Okay, so they attend for more of low back pain. So for them, you can ask them to buy it. So again, it depends on the mother. So it depends on their finance, and it depends on the particular couple. Okay, then next is massage. So massage here, you can give stroking, you can give effleurage and kneading. Okay, don't give any other technique, only this three technique you will be able to give. So this massage will help them to relax their muscle, and it will help them to reduce the pain. The next is back care. So back care is the advices you will be giving them to prevent the problem, or uh, to cure the problem. So first is you need to teach them how to get up from the bed. So if they have in case if they have any other problem like SA joint pain or symphysis pubis dysfunction, then you can ask them to keep the legs together, or you can ask them to be in crook lying with hips together. That is hips in adduction position. Okay, so that will help them to reduce the problem like SA joint or pubic dysfunction. So normally, like they have to turn to one side, like a log roll. They have to turn to one side, then they have to get up. So in case if they are most probably if they are in after their second trimester, they will be in their side lying position. So it is very easy for them to get up from the side lying position. So from the side lying position, they have to give some support over the hands, and they have to get up. Okay, so this one you have to teach them. Then when how to sit. So when they are sitting, they have to sit in a comfortable chair. That means they should not sit on a very small stool. They have to sit in such a way that the complete pelvis is supported on the seat. Then the complete thigh is supported on the chair. Okay, so only the just the chair should be in such a way that it is away from the popliteal fossa for 1 to 2 centimeters. Okay, so other than that, the completely the hip and the buttock should be supported in the chair. Then the feet should be completely supported on this surface, and the hips and knees should be in such a way that it is in 90 position. So this is the good sitting posture. Okay, then in this posture they are supposed to maintain the spine properly. So if they are not able to maintain the spine properly, you can give a small pillow support so that the lumbar is able to maintain the posture, able to maintain the curvature. So once the lumbar is maintaining the curvature, the thoracic and the cervical will be able to maintain the normal posture. So they should not sit in such a way, sitting. So if they go for stoop sitting, automatically the spine will undergo additional curves. Okay, so you have to prevent that. Then you have to teach them how to use the laptop in sitting position. So the how much the table height should be, how much the laptop height should be, how much the computer height should be, how much is the hand position. All those things you can teach them. This is again depends on the job of the mother. So if they are just a homemaker, then you have to teach in such a way that in sitting how to cut the vegetables, how to cook, all those things you have to teach. So according to their job, you can teach them how to sit, how to do the work. The next is how to stand. So whenever they are standing, they should not stand in a single leg. So most of the women have this habit of standing in a single leg. Okay, so they are supposed to stand on both the legs. The weight should be equally distributed over both the feet. Okay, so this is very must, because if they stand in a single leg, then they will be having SI joint strain. Okay, so they should avoid this. Then the feet should be slightly apart, not too much apart and not too much close. That means it should be in such a way that it is equal to it is little bit more than the shoulder width. Okay, since the abdomen is distended, it will be little difficult for you to maintain the posture in shoulder width apart, in shoulder width position. So normal standing position is we need to stand in such a way that the feet is along with the shoulder width. But in pregnant, it can be little bit more than the shoulder width, so that they are able to balance themselves within the base of support. Then the knees should not be hyperextended. Most of the time, the knees will be going for hyperextension. Why? Because the knee muscles are ligaments are very loose, and it will go for hyperextension. So you have to avoid that. Then maintain the normal spinal curvature, no stoop standing, no forward shoulders. The shoulder should be straight, and it should be like maintained in a neutral position. So this you have to see. So stand in such a way that they are upright always. So they have to maintain this in standing. Okay, then how to bend down. So they should not twist, or they should not go for direct bending. So if they go for direct bending, the complete stress will be on the spine. So already the spine will be undergoing lot of stress. If they are doing this bending, then it will be affecting their posture. It will be affecting their muscles, then it will end up in low back pain. So if in case if they want to bend down, they are supposed to bend or bend their knees. Okay, that means they are supposed to squat and take the object. Now, don't lift heavy objects. Don't twist. So if you want to turn, you have to turn the whole body instead of twisting the upper body. Okay, so it should be in such a way that the spine is moved up and down within the base of support. So that's how they have to bend down. Then avoid squatting unless and until you have a good fitness. That means you need to do a good isometric knee exercises, because already the knee will joint will be little loose, and because of the against gravity position, the knee extensors will be keep on working, and this will lead to laxity of the muscle, or the muscle power will reduce. So you are supposed to do lot of isometric knee exercises, so that it is not leading to it doesn't the knee joint is not going for weakness and laxity. Okay, so you have to do that. So don't don't need to squat unnecessarily. You have to do in case if you want mandatory to do it. Okay, so these are the positions like lying. So this is called as pregnancy pillow. So can you see this is called pregnancy pillow? So they can just keep the leg, one leg down and other leg up so that the complete abdomen is supported. So if you see here, if you are just asking them to lie down in the side lying, the abdomen will be should be on the bed, or you need to give a support. If you don't give a support, what will happen? The abdomen will be hanging in the air, and this will lead to weakness, further weakness. So you are supposed to comfortably position the abdomen over the pillow or a towel so that the abdomen is not keep pulling. Okay, so this is the correct question for side lying. So they can use a pelvic pillow, sorry, pregnancy pillow, or else if they don't have that, they can use the normal pillow like this. So this is the correct side lying position. So mostly they have to avoid supine lying position. So you teach them the correct side lying position. So this is about low back pain. Next is sacroiliac joint dysfunction. So normally there won't be any movement in the sacroiliac joint. So sacroiliac joint is a very stable joint which will not allow any single degree of movement. But during pregnancy, because of the joint laxity, the joint will become little loose and it will allow movement. So why it is allowing movement? Then only the pelvic inlet and outlet will be expanding and the baby will be coming out. So that's why the SA joint is undergoing this changes. Is that clear? But due to this changes, what will happen? Sometimes the joint will become more mobile and it will go for malalignment. Okay, so that means like the joint will be like it will be going in the front or it will be going in the back. So because of the new movement that is taking place, especially when the women's are going for single leg standing, they will be having this particular problem. So this is called SA joint dysfunction. So for this you need to teach them the technique called gapping technique. Okay, so with the women in the in a lying position, the affected knee should be flexed and the toes should be crooked. Okay, let me show you the video so that you understand better. Okay. SA joint strain dysfunction treatment. So this is called a gapping technique, which is normally performed for pregnant women. So as we know, the reason for this SA joint dysfunction is the smooth muscles will become a little bit loose because of the hormonal changes, and all the joints which usually doesn't move will have some movement. Especially if you see like in SA joint and symphysis pubis joint. So what will happen? The sacrum and the ilium will have some movement and it will become little overriding or it will become little underriding. So normally whenever we are walking, the sacrum and the ilium will be together like this. There won't be any movement at all. But during pregnancy there will be some movement. So whenever they are walking, this will go either behind or forward. So this will lead to this overriding and underlining, which is the main reason for the pain during the pregnancy. So this gapping technique will help you to realign the joint. So what will do, whatever movement you are giving to the pelvis, so this will help you to realign the overriding or underriding of the sacrum. So this is what we are going to do it. So in this, like we have nearly 6 techniques. So 4 are movement technique and 2 will be positioning that is done by the mother herself. So another one point what you have to emphasize is they should not be doing this movement so often because already the joints will be little loose. So if they keep on doing this movement frequently, this may lead to some other issues. So advise them to do only once or twice in a day. Okay, so now we will see the technique. So the position of the patient will be in supine lying. Of course, supine lying is contraindicated during pregnancy, but only for this movement we are going to position the mother in supine lying. So in supine lying, you have to stand, that is the therapist have to stand at the near to the joint affected. So that means like if right side is affected, you need to stand at the right side. So stand at the right side, then you have to hold the leg. Hold the leg, one hand will be under the knee, another hand will be under the leg. So hold the leg like this, then you have to flex it in such a way that it is coming towards the shoulder. So flex as much as possible towards the shoulder of the opposite leg. So if the pain is in the right side, then you have to bend the leg and bring the knee towards the left shoulder. Okay, so by cupping, you bring the leg towards the left shoulder, then you have to extend. So this is one movement you are going to do. So you need to bring towards the left side, then bring back, then again bend and bring towards the right side. Okay, then bring back. So whenever you are bringing the knee will be going towards the shoulder and the heel will be going towards the groin. Okay, so you have to see to that. So one hand you need to cup under the heel and the cup hand will be going towards the groin. So this is the first technique. So second technique, again you position the patient in supine lying. Then you have to tangle the leg under the lateral aspect of the other leg. So you need to tangle the leg under the lateral aspect of the other leg. Then you have to stabilize the affected side shoulder. So right side, if it is affected, you have to stabilize the affected side shoulder. Then you have to do this rocking movement. So here you are just doing a rocking movement. This will help you to reduce the mole alignment. Okay, so this is the rocking movement. So this is the second technique. So third technique is where you need to again position the patient in supine lying. Then you have to just lift the leg, flex 30 degrees and abduct 30 degrees. Okay, so hold the leg in such a way that it is 30 degree flexed and 30 degree abducted. So in this position, you have to just give a traction. So you can also have one assistant just to stabilize the pelvis. So you have to be aware that you are treating a pregnant mother. So don't give too much stabilization. It is just to stabilize the pelvis along with the table. Okay, then you will just give a traction. So this traction movement will help you to align the joint. Is that clear? So this is your third technique. Then fourth technique is in sitting or standing. So in sitting or standing, so I can demonstrate myself. In sitting or standing, you just ask the person to keep the leg over the table. So this is in standing. So in standing, ask them to keep the leg flexed over the table or a chair. Then do a rocky movement. Okay, so this also will help you to realign the joint. So this is in standing. In sitting, you can ask them to keep the affected leg on.
Are you developing any symptoms, Shuki? You mentioned something we didn't get you.
So in sitting, you ask the mother to bend the leg like this, then hold the knee and do a mild rocking movement. So this will be very difficult in case if they are in the second trimester and third trimester. So better you can do in standing for second trimester and third trimester mother. Okay, so this is the fourth technique. So these are the four techniques where we need to do. Then other two positions the mother herself will be able to perform it. So for that, one is in supine lying. So in supine lying, ask the mother to tangle the leg over the other side. So she can twist the lower part, that is lower limb, and just keep the leg below the other leg. So the lower leg should be completely turned or it should be twisted towards the other side. The upper body has to be on the bed straight. So in this position, she can lie down for 20 to 30 minutes. Did you see the video completely? Okay. Okay, so that is your sacroiliac joint dysfunction gapping technique. So you have 6 techniques. In that, 4 will be the movement technique and 2 will be the positions maintained by the person themselves. So only during the gapping technique they are supposed to lie down supine even if they are in the second trimester or third trimester. So after a while immediately they have to change their position. Is that clear? So apart from this gapping technique, you can also give you can also advise them to go for side lying between like in between they have to keep a pillow between the knees and they have to be in the side lying. So maybe they can be for example if they have right side pain then they have to lie down on the left side. Is that clear? So side lying position will help them to reduce the pain little bit. Then apart from that you can also give some in case if you feel there is some edema or in case if there is any inflammation then you can give rest and icing. So rest and icing over the SA joint will help you to reduce the edema and the inflammation. Gentle non weight bearing exercises normally depends on the pain. If the pain is very severe then we will be giving them a walker so that they will be going for non-weight bearing movement. Okay, so you can give a walker in case the pain is very severe. Then TENS also you can give in case if the pain is continuous. Okay, so these are the other techniques you will be giving for SA joint dysfunction. So next problem is sciatica. So sciatica is baby sitting on the nerve. So since the abdomen is distending, the abdomen will be compressing or the lower part of the abdomen will be compressing your sciatic nerve. So the baby sometimes it will be keep moving. Sometimes when it is moving, it may just compress the sciatic nerve. That will be causing the sciatic pain. So for this, this will be happening on and off. So once the baby is moving from that particular position, then there won't be any pain. Okay, so till the baby is in that particular position, we will not be able to do much. But we can also teach them positioning, back air, posture correction, and any ADL, any ADL is affected, and according to that, you have to give them the modification, and you can also give them the pain relief. But most of the time, if the baby is moving and sitting on the nerve, then you have to wait till it is moving that from that particular position. Okay, so treatment is depends on the severity and depends on the symptoms. So next is symphysis pubis dysfunction. Like our SA joint, same like symphysis pubis also will be having will be having the same kind of problem. So normally this symphysis pubis joints will not have any movement at all. but because of the pregnancy, especially this will happen at the third trimester. So because of that, the joint will become little loose, so that it is during labor it will be able to elongate, or it will be able to expand and give way for the normal delivery. So for that the joint will become loose. So sometimes because of walking and other things, the joint may be become hypermobile, and it may underride or override each other. There is alignment may be underriding or overriding. So this will lead to pain, especially this will be leading to burning around the particular joint. Okay, so the burning kind of pain around the particular joint. So for that, you can, in case if the weight bearing is provoked, then don't give weight bearing. Ask them to take rest completely. You can give them a walker in case if they want to go for only restroom and another thing. But otherwise, they have to completely rest. Then you can also teach them hip adduction. So they should, normally the problem will increase with hip abduction. Okay, so during hip abduction, the pain will increase. So to avoid that, what you have to do is you should keep the leg in adduction, ADD. So always keep the legs in adduction. Other than that, according to the difficulties, you have to teach them how to, especially when you see when you are getting out of the car, you will be doing hip abduction. So to avoid that, you have to teach them the proper sitting in, proper getting in and getting out of the car. So that means when you are getting in the car, you have to sit with both the feet together. Then with the feet together, you have to swing inside. Okay, so you have to sit on the side, then you have to swing the both the legs together inside. So this is the way you have to get in and get out of the car. So you should not do hip abduction at all. Okay, so changing the position in the bed, turning, all the time you have to keep the legs together and keep the movement, do the movement in hip adduction, ADD. Avoid hip abduction. So this will help you to reduce the pain. Then you can also give some compression in case if the pain is more severe. Then according to that, you can go for dressing and other things. So walking can be strictly restricted. In case if they want to walk, they can use the walker, or they can use the crutches depending on the fitness of the person. Okay, so rest is very mandatory. Definitely they have to undergo rest with trochanteric belt support. So trochanteric belt is nothing but a belt which will be holding the thighs together. So you can use it to hold the thighs together. That means they have to avoid hip abduction and they have to maintain hip adduction. This is very important. Okay, in case if it is very severe, then totally avoid walking and be in rest, be in bed. Okay, the next is like you can also teach them hip isometric adduction. That is how to do hip adduction isometric exercises. So that is nothing but you can ask them to hold some small cushion or a ball in between the knees and ask them to hold it tight or compress it tight, so that they do isometric hip adduction. Okay, in case if they want to go for swimming, another thing, they are not supposed to do breaststroking, because in breaststroking they will be having hip abduction movement. So they have to avoid the breaststroking. Remaining everything they will be able to perform. Okay. So next is like coccydynia. Coccydynia is the tailbone pain. So normally they will not, you will not have any pain, but very rarely, in case if the alignment is changed little bit, then they will be having a pain at the lower part of the spine. So if they have a fracture already, if they already had a fracture in the coccydynia, in the coccyx, and because of that if they have any split in the coccyx, then the problem will aggravate during pregnancy. Is that clear? So for that they have to use a donut pillow. So donut pillow is a pillow which will be having a gap in the middle. Okay, that is called as donut pillow. So they can sit on that so that they can avoid pressure over the particular spine. Is that clear? So other than that, you can give a gentle mobilization You can give ice pack, you can give heat, ultrasound, and TENS. So how to give mobilization? You have to wear a glove, then hold the coccyx with the thumb. Okay, so posteriorly you have to use your thumb and hold the coccyx. Then you have to insert the index finger inside the anus. So inside the anus you have to insert the index finger. Posteriorly you have to hold the coccyx using the thumb. So like that you have to hold and give the mobilization very gently. This will help them to align the joint properly. Is that clear? So that is the treatment for this coccydynia. Next is thoracic spine pain. So do you want any break? So I'll give you 5 minutes break. The time is 11 o'clock now. We will meet by 11:05. Can we start?
Okay, miss.
Yes, miss.
So the next problem is thoracic spine pain. So this pain is because of the postural changes they have during the pregnancy. That is because of the enlargement of the breast. The weight of the breast will be pulling their thorax forward. Okay, so that will lead to this thoracic spine pain. So this will lead to some flaring of the rib cage also. So you can just imagine. So no, people who are having a normal straight shoulder, if they suddenly become a rounded shoulder, and if they go for stoop posture, then they will have this particular pain as well as flaring of the rib. So for treating this, we can go for some mobilization technique. So for mobilizing, what we have to do is you have to ask them to keep the hand over the waist. So that is called as rib lifting technique. They have to hold the hand over the head, or else they can keep the hand over the waist. Okay, so two ways they can do. So keep the hand over the head with the hands closed, or keep the hand over the waist. Then they have to turn, or they have to flex the flex towards away from the pain. In case if they have pain on the left side, then they have to flex towards the right side. So this will help them to lift the rib, so that the underlying muscles will, or underlying tissues will get released from the compression. Okay, so suddenly because of the abnormal posture, suddenly because of overweight of the breast, the rib will go for flaring, and because of that, at one side of the rib will compress the tissue. That will cause severe pain. So to reduce that, we can do something called rib lifting technique. So what you can do is, either you can ask them to hold the hand over the waist, or you ask them to hold the hand clasped over the head, then turn away from the pain, that is flex from the pain. So if the pain is on the left side, then they have to flex towards the right side. If the pain is on the right side, then they have to flex towards the left side. Okay, so this is called this is a mobilization you can do to reduce the pain. Then correct their posture. In case if they want any taping technique, you can go for taping technique also. So you can also teach them some shoulder bracing exercises. So shoulder bracing exercises will help them to reduce the spasm over the thoracic area. So you can do shoulder bracing exercises. You can do pelvic, pectoral major and minor muscle stretching. That is like you can stretch over the walls. At the corner of the walls, you can ask them to stand and stretch the stretch the muscle. So this is called wall stretching. So you can stretch pectoralis major and minor. You can teach them self stretching. Okay, that also will help them to reduce the problem. And they are supposed to wear a proper brassiere and upper dress. So normally, because of the enlarging breast, they need to change their brassiere according to the changes, and they have to wear some loose dresses. They should not wear some tight upper dresses. So you advise them to change their dress. Then in case if the pain is more severe, they can give a hot pack or ice pack. Okay, so this is for thoracic pain. So next, just like whatever till now, whatever we have seen is musculoskeletal problem. Next is nerve problem. So normally, because of the hormonal changes, the body will undergo some what to say flobbiness, and the body will swellen up little bit. So this is because of water retention that will be happening during pregnancy. So this water retention will compress the nerve wherever it is passing over a tunnel, or wherever it is passing over a bone. Okay, so this compression will lead to paresthesia sensation or pain over the particular nerve distribution. So depending on the nerve which is where it is compressed, you will be having the problem. So if the compression is over the carpal tunnel, where the medial nerve is passing, then you will be having pain distribution over the medial side of the fingers. Okay, so if it is compressing ulnar nerve, then accordingly, like ulnar side of the fingers will be affected. Then sometimes, like it may also affect your brachial plexus. Okay, so depending on the area it is compressing, you will be having the problem. So for this, mainly you can go for ice pack. This ice pack will help you to reduce the edema and reduce the like water retention, and this will reduce the compression over the nerve. Then you can also do some finger hand exercises in elevation, shoulder elevation. So this will help you to reduce the problem, reduce the edema, and this will help you to reduce the compression. Okay, you can also go for ultrasound in case if the pain is very severe. You can also go for splinting in case if the pain is very severe. Okay, so splinting is like this. So you can give a splint so that you don't do wrist flexion or extension movement, which may increase the problem. So wrist movement will increase the problem. So you give a splint and you maintain the position. Is that clear? So next is like same like the compression over the carpal tunnel. You may also have a compression over the brachial plexus. This is again because of fluid retention and postural changes. So as I said earlier, because of the breast enlargement, they may become a rounded shoulder person. So when they become a rounded shoulder, automatically the brachial plexus also will be pulled forward. So this pulling pain will lead to brachial plexus pain. So that will lead to pain and paresthesia over the shoulder and the arm. The whole arm will feel heavy. The whole arm will be feeling some paresthesia kind of pain, and numbness will be there. So this is because of the abnormal posture and water retention. So for this, you can teach them shoulder bracing exercises. That is your shoulder girdle exercises. You have to teach stretching. You have to teach them stretching. That is your pectoralis major and minor stretching will help them a lot. Then you have to ask them to do shoulder elevation movement. That is, they can do finger exercises, elbow exercises, and shoulder exercises in shoulder flexion or elevated movement. So this will help them to reduce the pain. Is that clear? Next is myalgia paresthetica. Same reason, when the lateral cutaneous nerve is getting compressed over the thigh. So same fluid retention when it is present in the thigh, and it will be compressing the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve under the inguinal ligament. If it is compressing, then you will have the symptoms or burning symptoms over the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. So over the anterolateral aspect of the thigh, you will be having a burning sensation. Is that clear? So the reason everything is same. So for this, since the area is the thigh, it will be very difficult for you to elevate the limb, but you can go for a pressure garment. So we have undergarments which will be giving the compression, so they can use that, so the water retention will be pushed out towards the lymphatic channels and water retention is reduced. So other than that, we can also give TENS. So the pads will be placed along with the nerve course, and that will be reducing the that will help. TENS will help you to reduce the pain. Okay, so next is same thing in the posterior tibial nerve at the ankle. So same, if they have ankle edema, the edema will be compressing the posterior tibial nerve at the ankle joint, and this will lead to paresthesia over the sole of the foot and over the plantar aspect of the toes. So for this, resting with the leg in elevation means you can ask them to keep the leg over a footstool and do flexion and extension movement. So this will help them to reduce the edema. Once the edema is reduced, automatically the problem also will be subsiding. If not, you can also give ice pack and ultrasound. So ice will again will lead to improve the circulation, and this will help you to reduce the problem. Is that clear? So this is like your for your posterior tibial nerve compression. So overall, you can also ask them to go for water walking. So in case if the mother is like swimming, then you can ask her to go for water walking as a warm up exercise or a cool down exercise, because in the water they will be having hydrostatic pressure that will give the compression, and that will reduce this edema, and that will reduce this particular movement. Okay, so you can ask them to go for water walking at the waist level in case if they have the lower limb compression. So if they have till paresthesia, like shoulder brachial plexus paresthesia, then you can ask them to walk at the shoulder level water, so that will give them a good relief. Okay. So next is same like the nerve problem. Sometimes you will have the arteries problems also. So arteries problem means uh, like especially you will be having problem at the legs. This is called as varicose vein. So in the legs, since we are standing in against gravity position, since most of our movement are against gravity position, then because of that we will be having this particular varicose veins problem. Because of the hormonal influence, the smooth muscles will undergo elongation. So say your arteries and the nerves and the veins also will undergo same elongation. So in the legs, even though if the veins are having valves to prevent blood stagnant in the lower limb, but because of the elongation of the veins, there will be pooling of blood in the lower limbs. So the valves also will not be able to hold the blood properly. So because of that, most of the time the blood will be remaining in the leg, especially below the calf muscle, and this will lead to varicose veins. Okay, so to avoid this, you have to avoid standing for a long time and sitting for a long time with leg dependent position. You can ask them to keep the leg over a footstool. Ask them to do vigorous ankle toe movement so that they will be able to prevent this varicose problem. They can go for brisk walking on and off, so that they will increase the venous return, and whenever they are sitting, they have to keep their foot up above. Then they can also go for elastic stockings. So like should be put in bed before getting up in the morning. That means before getting up, they have to wear the socks, then only they have to get up. So they have to wear the socks in the morning, then only they have to get up. Okay, so that is that we can use, like there are many types of stockings nowadays. Nowadays we have very many types of stockings. So depending on the brand and depending on the varicose veins, if it is severe, then you have to go for a good compression. If it is a normal one, then you can go for a little moderate kind of a compression, because in the elastic stockings we have different various levels of compression. Is that clear? Next is muscle cramps. So these muscle cramps the mothers will be having because of reduction in the calcium. So most of the time the baby will be sucking lot of nutrition. So the baby will not starve. Okay, so always the baby will never starve. It will be just absorbing whatever it needs. So only the remaining will be given to the mother. So in that case, if the mother is not taking enough calcium or enough potassium, the mother will be having this kind of muscle cramps, especially over the calf. And during nights, they will be getting severe calf cramps. Is that clear? So this is because of calcium deficiency and because of potassium and because of dehydration. So you have to advise the mother to drink enough water, enough milk for calcium. So if they are not able to take milk, they have to take up any other calcium supplement. Not only that, they are supposed to get exposed to sunlight, that is vitamin D. So calcium will not be absorbed without vitamin D. So in the body, if they don't have vitamin D, then calcium, whatever calcium they are taking, it will be going as a waste. So they have to get exposed to sun, which is very rich in vitamin D. Is that clear? Okay. Then apart from that, they can go for vigorous ankle toe movement. You can teach them self stretching for calf muscle. So they can do self stretching, and they can do massage, that is deep kneading. They can do picking up, bringing. Uh, then they can also go for hacking over the calf. So all these things you can teach the partner. He can do for her whenever she needs it. Okay, so before bed, if she goes for a walk and if she drinks proper water, then if she does a good stretching, then it will not come during the night time. Most of the time, this muscle cramps will come in the night. Next is thrombosis and thromboembolism. So this thrombosis is a complication of varicose vein. In case if the mother has varicose vein, then they will be having a chance for this thrombosis or thromboembolism. Thrombosis is blood clotting over the blood veins. So since the blood is there present in a particular area for longer time, it will undergo clotting and it will be getting attached in the blood vessel walls. Okay, so that is called as thrombosis. If this clots that is attached to the blood vessel walls and getting discharged and starting to move along the blood vessel, then that is called as embolism. Okay, so when this clots, small clots getting discharged from the walls and moving along with the blood vessel, it will go and get blocked. It will be blocking the small vessels. Okay, so if it is going and blocking the lung, it will be called as pulmonary embolism. If it is going and blocking the heart, then it will end up in heart attack. It will be if it is going and getting um, blocked in a brain, then it will end up in stroke. Okay, so this is a very serious complication which we should definitely avoid it. So people who are having varicose veins, you have to advise them to wear a anti-embolytic stockings and do severe ankle toe movement. Okay, so that then only it will help them to avoid this thrombus formation. Okay, so in case if they have this thrombosis, then you have to check for the thrombosis. Don't give any exercises unless and until they take the medications and remove the clot. Okay, so if you go and give any exercises, the clot will get dislodged and it will go and block anything, and the patient may die. Then you will be murdering the particular mother. So you need to be very careful. So that's why, like when you are giving exercise for the first time, you have to check whether the mother has any deep vein thrombosis or not. If the mother has deep vein thrombosis, then she has to take a anticoagulant treatment, that is heparin. Okay, that will help them to like loosen the clot, and that will help them to dissolve the clot. Then only you have to start with the exercises. So next is hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids is like if they have weak pelvic floor muscle, and if because of the pregnancy they will have a lot of chances for constipation. So whenever they are straining more for defecation, the stools will be compressing the blood vessels that is present in the anus. So this will lead to loosening of the blood vessels, and this will compress the blood vessels, and the blood vessels sometimes may leak, or sometimes will become loose, or sometimes may become weak, and the weakened blood vessels will just balloon up little bit, and that is called as hemorrhoid. Okay. So to prevent this, you have to teach them proper defecation technique. So defecation technique is proper dieting. That means proper fiber intake, proper water intake. So because whenever they are taking iron supplements, it will lead to constipation. So they are supposed to take enough fiber, so the tools are not getting not getting the tools are not becoming harder, and the tools will be easily, it will be moved out. Then defecation technique, they are supposed to defecate at hip at 135 degree. So whichever we are using, the western commode is not a proper defecating technique. You're supposed to go with the Indian commode, which will be giving a perfect defecating technique. Okay, so in case if they are using a western commode, you advise them to keep a footstool and flex the hip to 135 degree. So when the hip is in 135 degree, then the rectum will be open up clearly, and the defecation process will take normally. Is that clear? So this is the perfect defecation technique. So teach them good pelvic floor exercises, so that the anal and the perineal circulation will be improved, and they don't have this problem. You can also give ice pack. You can also give a cushion for sitting, and you can also give a padding for reducing the pressure. Okay, so this is for hemorrhoids. Next is, they will it is called as vulvar varicose veins. So varicose veins, how it is attacking the lower leg, same like that it will also can happen at the vulvar region. So that is your external genitalia. So over there, because of the edema, because of the fluid retention, the blood vessels also will be elongated, and the blood will be stagnant in the varicose in the vulvar region, and this will lead to varicose vein. So for this, here you cannot elevate the part. So what you have to do is, you can ask them to do good pelvic floor exercises, so that it will increase the circulation and it will reduce the edema. Okay, so that is one. Then you can also keep a sanitary pad, and you can also keep a pressure garment. So nowadays, like a lot of this pressure undergarment has come. So this pressure undergarment will be from your legs. It will be like your tights. It will be like your leggings. Okay, so from the legs it will be coming, and it will be there along with your pants. It will go. So it will be compressing from the ankle till your vulvar region. It will give the compression gradually, and it will give the compression from the lower to the proximal. This will help them to reduce the edema, and this will help them to reduce the problem. Okay, so avoid prolonged standing and avoid constipation to reduce this vulvar varicose vein. Next is heartburns. So this is because because of the hormonal changes, the smooth muscle will undergo elongation. So esophagus, since it is a smooth muscle, it will undergo elongation. Okay, so normally normally in all the person, the esophagus will be there. At the end of the esophagus, we will be having a valve kind of valve. So that valve will be preventing any food particles escaping into the regurgitating into the esophagus. Okay, so it is like a one-way valve. So the food particle will go through the esophagus, and once it is reaching the stomach, it cannot escape to the esophagus. Okay, so the valve will be closing the esophagus whenever the stomach is undergoing the digestion and stomach is undergoing all the doing the digestion, the esophagus valve will get closed. Okay, why? Because the stomach will be having lot of acids getting secreted, which will be helping you for digestion. So this acids, if it is escaping and coming to esophagus, since esophagus is a very smooth muscle, it will undergo burning sensation, or the stomach acid will burn the esophagus. Okay, so that's why we will be having a splinter or a valve that will be unilateral, moving unilateral, and it will be closing the esophagus. But because of the hormonal influence during pregnancy, the esophagus will undergo undergo swelling, or it will undergo looseness, and because of that the valve will not be able to close the esophagus properly, and they may have this regurgitation. So if they are having a stomach full of food, then definitely they will be having this regurgitation, and because of the acid coming to the esophagus, they will be having the heartburns or burning kind of sensation. So to avoid that, whenever after having food, they should not lie down, and if they want to lie down also, they have to keep their head raised up, and they have to eat little and often. So instead of having 3 full meals in a day, they can go for half stomach and they can eat for 6 times. This will help them to reduce their heartburns. Next is insomnia and nightmares. This is because of the hormonal changes that is affecting the nervous system. So maybe they will not be able to sleep properly. They will be having some hallucinations, delusions, a lot of nightmares will be there. Okay, so for that, what they can do, you can advise them as you can advise them good positioning, good support. You can ask them to ask the partners to go for massage. You can teach them relaxation technique, especially visualized relaxation technique, so that they get relaxed, and they have to relax properly. They should not overwork. They have to reduce their workload, and weekends also they have to relax and take rest, and lunchtime also they can go for a small nap, because if they are continuously sitting and working, the pelvic area will undergo some congestion. Okay, so to avoid that, they have to go for a small nap in the afternoon. Then morning sickness, this is a normal thing to have, especially in the first trimester. This is because of the HCG hormone. The HCG hormone is human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. This hormone is secreted to for the growth and development of the fetus. Okay, and this hormone is the indication for the pregnancy. So this hormone will lead to this nausea and vomiting feeling, especially in the first trimester. So for this, you can give them acupressure therapy. So you have to give a pressure in between the flexor carpi radialis and palmaris longus. Don't compress the radial artery. So it is just beside the radial artery. You have to give the compression. So just give a hold between the palmaris radial, flexor carpi radialis and palmaris longus at the breast. Hold for a few seconds and relax. This will help them to reduce the vomiting sensation. Okay, you can also give a tense over the web space. So this also will give a acupressure kind of effect, and this will reduce the morning sickness. They can eat ginger, sometimes they can also eat lemon. So this will help them to reduce the morning sickness. Next is urge and stress incontinence. Again, this is also common because of weak pelvic floor muscle. Because of the abdominal pressure and weight over the bladder will be emptying for many times. Once they are using the muscle very many times, this will lead to weakness of the muscle. Okay, so you have to teach them good pelvic floor exercises. So this will help them to improve the muscle power, and this will help them to reduce the stress incontinence. So these are some of the problems we will be seeing during the pregnancy. So as a PT, whenever they come to you, you can ask them whether they have any problem, and accordingly you can teach them. Or during the antenatal classes, you can give us some emphasizes over these particular muscles. these particular things, and you can teach the exercises. Okay, sometimes because of this complication, discomforts, they may come and meet you and they may get the advices. Sometimes they will be coming only during the antenatal classes. So when a mother is coming, you have to check for these and you have to give them the advices properly. Okay, so we shall see some of the videos that will like videos of the exercises.
Sit down with good posture.
This is pelvic tilting exercises. Okay, pelvic tilting exercises on sitting.
Draw your belly button inwards, towards the back of the chair slightly, and tilt the pelvis backwards, i.e. flatten the spine against the chair. Return to the start position, arching your back, known as lumbar lordosis. This exercise strengthens the deep abdominal muscles and improves core control.
இமிகிரேஷன்ல இருந்து எங்களுக்கு கால் பண்ணுச்சு, அதனாலதான் நாங்க வந்து சொல்றோம் அப்படின்னு. இதுதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேசுறோம்.
The pelvic tilt progression. The pelvic tilt is a core engagement exercise that works on your deep core intrinsic stabilizers. It's often given to women post-pregnancy to help them restore their abs and build them back up. But really, anybody who has low back pain or can't get their abs to work, or even when you're doing planks or other exercises, you need to use this. You need to learn it. You need to go back to basics. You know when you do the abs in class and you have your hands behind your low back to help your low back and keep it from engaging? Well, this progression will teach you to actually use your abs so you're not just compensating and you're making up for the fact that your abs aren't really working. If you have a towel, that's a great tool to make sure that everything's engaging. When you do the pelvic tilt, you're tilting your pelvis. You almost feel like you're rounding your low back, you're drawing your belly button in, and you're bringing your hips up towards your ribs. So it's rounding that low back, engaging hard. So technically, if you're at the office and you want to practice this, you could. You can even do it against the wall and then try and press the low back into the wall as you round. So when you do this against the ground, you're going to press your low back into the ground. If you have a towel, you can place that behind your low back. That'll sort of help show you when your low back is actually pressed against the ground. So relaxing back, I'm going to press my low back into the ground. I'm going to round my low back and tuck my hips up towards my ribs. If I pull on the towel, it shouldn't come out if my abs are actually engaged. So hold there and breathe and press the low back in. Give yourself a little check, or if you have a partner, they can check on the towel and relax. If that movement feels easy, you can do the knee tucks. So progressing the pelvic tilt doesn't mean you just go to double leg lowers. It means first you start with a knee tuck. So again, with the towel behind my low back, I can even feel my abs engaged. I'm going to do the pelvic tilt, and then I'm going to raise one knee at a time. As I do this, I'm going to pull on the towel to make sure that everything's engaged, that my low back's pressing down. From here, I can then do a double knee tuck. So that's the next progression in the pelvic tilt. Again, engaging the abs with the pelvic tilt, bringing both knees up, pulling on the towel to make sure the low back stays down, pulling, bringing the knees back down. Making sure the entire time my abs are engaged. If at any point you lose the connection with the ground or the towel pulls free, stay there. You don't have to just keep progressing. You want to master the movement and make sure that your abs are actually working. If your abs aren't working, the movement's pointless. You're not getting anything out of it. You're not going to get stronger abs. You're not going to get more out of the plank variations and the hanging core. So make sure you master it before moving on. If you've mastered the bent knee variations, you can go to straight legs. So holding the legs up, I'm going to engage the pelvic tilt, make sure everything's nice and tight. And one at a time, I'm going to lower the legs down, pulling on the towel to make sure everything stays nice and tight. At the bottom, you even want to squeeze your glute to protect that low back, pressing the low back down. Alternate sides. If you can't keep your legs straight, or again, if the towel comes out, regress the movement. There's no need to do a movement that's not actually working your abs. We don't want to compensate by putting our hands behind our low back and our butt. We want to make the abs work. The hardest pelvic tilt variation is with both legs lowering. So again, towel behind my low back, abs engaged, performing the pelvic tilt. I'm going to lower my legs down. I'm not going to place my hands behind my low back. I'm going to keep my low back pressed against the ground, not allow the towel to move. Then I'll raise my legs back up, keeping the pelvic tilt. Only lower down as far as you can. The closer to the ground you get, the harder the move will be. Do not attempt that variation if you haven't mastered the ones beforehand. You don't want to just do the glamour move. Master it, work the core, develop those deep core intrinsic stabilizers.
This is pelvic tilting and
Postural
standing.
muscles and pulling our lower back as well to perform some pelvic tilts. I'm going to use a wall today, but you can do it without the wall, but it is better to place yourself against the wall just so you can feel the resistance. So place your heels, bottom and shoulder blades against the wall. You will find that your shoulder will naturally slouch forward into your natural standing position. So what we need to do is just try and straighten up through our bodies. So head against the wall, shoulder blades pulled back. You'll find that you will arch through the lower back as well, and all I want you to do is just pull your pelvis under to flatten it against the wall. Keep your knees soft and just hold that for a few seconds, little pause, and then just kind of release naturally from it. So it is quite tough just to hold in that position for a few seconds. So we'll perform that again. Soft knees, lower back into the wall, shoulder blades pressed firmly, head against the wall. Draw your shoulder blades back, squeeze them, and then just tilt your pelvis against the wall. Hold it for a few seconds, keep breathing, and then release. Again, we're going to perform those for 10 to 15 reps as well. Please give those a whirl. Thank you.
Okay, so the reason why we are teaching them in different position, teaching you different position is, according to the patient, you have to decide which position you want to teach them. Is that clear? So, next is how to do pelvic floor exercise.
Do you think this exercise will...
Can you see it?
strengthen your pelvis? Unfortunately, the answer is no. While this exercise is really great for strengthening your buttock muscles, it won't strengthen your pelvic floor, and it'll just really waste your time if that's why you're doing it. Now today, I'm going to guide you step by step through Kegel exercises that won't waste your time and will strengthen your pelvic floor. This guide is suitable for you if you're a beginner starting out, or if you're a little unsure about doing your Kegels. Now today we're going to cover the best Kegels position to start with, And then we'll go through how to do your Kegels step by step. We'll take a look at how many Kegels to start with and also how long you need to wait for results. So when you're starting out, the best position for doing your Kegels is the one that you can really feel your exercises. It's often really quite hard to feel your Kegels, so getting yourself in the right position can really help you when you're starting out. So you might like to try your exercises in any of the following positions and see which one works best for you. So you can try perhaps kneeling on all fours, lying prone on your tummy, lying on your back, on your side with a pillow between your knees, or sitting, which is the position we're going to start with today. Now let's get started with your exercises. Your pelvic floor muscles are here, between your legs, where you sit. Now looking at the same view on this model, you can see how the pelvic floor muscles wrap around the three openings in your pelvic floor. You can see them here at the front, around the urethra and the vagina, and you can also see them here circling around the anus at the back. We're going to be exercising all these muscles together now. Now, here are the 3 steps for doing your Kegel exercises correctly. I'll guide you carefully through each step and then we'll put all the 3 steps together. I want you to start by moving forward away from the back of the chair that you're sitting on now. I'd like you to lift your chest and keep the inward curve in your lower back like this. So you're sitting tall here, your chest is lifted like this, and you have an inward curve in your lower back. Now here's the first step. Try to tighten your anus like this, as if you're stopping gas from passing. You should feel your anus tighten, but your buttocks should stay relaxed. So try that now. Try to tighten the anus, squeeze shut. But if you notice that you're moving up and down like this, you're using your buttocks, and that's not the right thing to do. Try to keep them relaxed, because that can make you actually think that you're doing the exercise when you're not. Now try again, tighten your anus and try to lift it inwards as if you're lifting it upwards towards your navel, as well as squeezing it shut. You should feel a squeezing and lifting sensation around your anus. Now relax around that area and back to resting. How did you go with that? Hopefully you could feel a tightening sensation, and this is part of your Kegel exercise. Now, step 2 can be a little tricky, so I need you to listen really carefully. I want you to tighten and squeeze the entrance to your vagina as if you're closing it shut. All right, let's try that. Try to tighten around the vagina, but also try to lift it inwards as if there's a string drawing up from the top of your vagina up inside towards your navel. Okay, so see if you can draw that up and in, and you might feel your anus tighten and your lower belly tighten too. That's exactly what you want to happen. Now relax back down to resting. So if you're having trouble feeling this exercise, try rolling up a hand towel and sitting on it like this. This can make it much easier to feel your Kegel exercises. Now step 3, here's your final step, so stay with me, we're nearly there. This time, try to tighten, or imagine you're tightening the area in front of your vagina where your urine comes out. Imagine that you're stopping or slowing the flow of urine. Can you tighten this area? This can be a little difficult to feel, especially at first. You might also feel your anus and vagina tightening too, and if you can, that's great. Now relax back down to resting, take a nice deep breath in and out. And now let's combine all 3 steps together. This is a correct Kegel exercise. Start by sitting tall, breathe normally. Now tighten your anus and vagina and lift them both inwards and upwards inside towards your navel. Now at the same time, try to squeeze as if you're stopping the flow of urine at the front. Do these actions all together, all at the same time, and now relax back down to resting. Take a deep breath in and out. How did you go with that Kegel exercise? Could you feel your pelvic floor muscles contracting? If you're a beginner, try not to be too hard on yourself, because Kegels can be really hard to feel, especially when you're starting out. But once you can feel the muscle tightening, you'll be well on your way to strengthening your pelvic floor. Let me know below if you have any questions about how to feel these exercises. I'd really like to know. Now, how can you know if you're doing this exercise correctly when you're starting out? Well, there's a couple of ways, and these are quick, easy ways you can try at home. You can try to stop or slow the flow of urine, but just do this once a week and just as a test, not as a regular exercise. You can also test some of these muscles by tightening to stop passing gas when you feel the urge to pass gas. The video linked above helps you to feel your Kegels, so you may like to watch that exercise too if you're still unsure about how to do your Kegel exercises technique. How many Kegels should you start out with? Well, when you're starting, start the first couple of days just doing 1 or 2 gentle Kegel exercises in a row and really try to focus getting your technique correct. This is the most important thing you can do at first. Then, as your technique improves, you might be able to do a few more Kegels and you might be able to hold those exercises for a little bit longer if you can. Try not to worry about doing strong exercises just yet. Technique is far more important. You may like to subscribe below to catch my Kegel strength training video that's coming up in the next few weeks. Now, if you can do 2 Kegel exercises in a row for 3 seconds, that's the number of exercises you start with. 2 exercises in a row and holding each exercise for 3 seconds. Try to repeat this routine 3 times a day. Ultimately, you're working towards doing your Kegels following this recipe. 8 to 10 exercises, up to 10 seconds for each exercise, and resting for about 6 to 10 seconds between each exercise. And you try to do that exercise routine 2 to 3 times a day on most days of the week. Now, some women will notice improvements within the first couple of weeks of starting their exercises, while other women will find it can take 5 to 6 months to actually get full strength gains, particularly if starting out.
Okay. Next is isometric abdominal exercise.
So our next exercise is an abdominal contraction exercise, focusing on your lower abdominal area, which is called your transverse abdominis muscle. So we'll do an isometric. So first you'll place both fingertips of both hands on your low belly or pelvis bone area. You'll be comfortably relaxed with the knees bent, with very relaxed and normal breathing. So the area of focus is between your fingertips. There are many different cues we use to engage these muscles. One is the idea of gently drawing the muscle inward that's underneath your fingers. Excellent. And it's really important to maintain normal, relaxed breathing. If that felt difficult, some people will consider a small zipper that comes from the crease of their hips towards their fingers or from their fingers inward, gently drawing in, again maintaining normal breathing. You'll try to hold this contraction approximately 10 seconds to ensure relaxed breathing, and you'll try to do this 5 repetitions 2 to 3 times per day. Some of the things that people do in error with this exercise is they actually try to do a pelvic tilt or flattening of the low back, which is not what we want ideally, or they will actually draw air in under their ribs, lifting up and arching their back. Also not what we want. So relax there. And that was great.
Okay. Okay, with that, I think I have shown most of the videos. So any doubt?
No doubt for me.
So can we have a 1 hour session tomorrow for our tutorials? You want it on Wednesday or Friday?
For me, tomorrow can, miss.
Okay, so before the class, like I want you to at least go through the slides so that you will know whenever I'm talking about something, you will know, okay, it is there. So just go through the slides little bit before the class. So is that okay for tomorrow?
Okay, Miss.
I will check when is it free time, then I'll let you know. Is that
Miss.
clear? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Miss.